Hey guys, I'm Sieh and I'm here to give you a quick brief on exactly how this Valorant Power Ranking series is going to be progressing. Before we get to that, a quick shout out to Hellranger, Mamba, and Rexdreams for agreeing to participate in this series. I'm really grateful for their presence. Now, getting to the video, this series is going to be divided into two parts. Part 1 is this video itself, as you may have noticed in the title, where we will be giving you, all four of us, our individual rankings about the top 8 teams in the Valorant South Asian community, as well as the 2 players we believe you need to look out for. These will be accompanied by a short clip where we will explain our basis for selecting these teams and these players. Feel free to join us in this process by dropping down in the comments below who you think are the top 8 teams in the region right now, as well as who you believe are the 2 players to watch out for moving forward. Now, part 2 will be where we discuss all of this in a live talk show and also talk to you, the fans, about exactly what we can expect from esports in the future and answer any questions that may come in general. More information about that I will release soon on my social media. Talking about social media, make sure you check out everybody's social media down in the links in the description below. Make sure to show your support to Hellranger, Mamba, and Rexdreams for participating in this series. Without any further ado, let's get to the video.
Hello guys, what's up? My name is Madhav, also known as Rexdreams. So this is my ranking for the top 10 or top 8 teams in India as of right now. Obviously at the top we have VLT, followed by Global Esports, XTZ, Wrecking Esports, Godlike, Villainous, Tryouts, Paratroops, Slay Them With Respect, and REA Gaming. So right off the bat, one of the most interesting picks in my top 10 definitely has to be REA Gaming for a lot of viewers. And even though we haven't seen them compete in like a lot of tournaments, like in the recent match against in TAC against Godel, we saw really great performance coming out from all of them. And we also saw them play against the Global Esports recently in the Oris, one of the Oris tournaments, and over there also we saw a really nice performance from them, and that's one of the reasons why I've gone for them in this position. Also, if you see the players on the roster, like they're not no-namers. We've seen them perform at the top levels in Counter Strike. We've seen Pasha Sahil play good Counter Strike. We've seen Pokey play a lot of good Counter Strike. We've seen Teet obviously being on the Noble roster, not some time ago before he was benched or kicked from the roster due to differences between the team or whatever. I'm not gonna get into that. And then obviously they have these two really good fragging out players such as Titan and Pasha Sahil, as we play the Jet and the Raze on most maps. Yeah, they play the two duelist roles, so really happy with how that works out and how the rest of the team actually sets them up for the rounds. So that's one module that I really liked coming out from them, and that's why they are a top 10 team in India coming from me. And in less than 3 months and like just heading out to practice and stuff, we've shown great results. So I'm really excited to see what they can do.
Hey guys, my name is Bhavan Kotwani, also known as Hellranger. I'm the captain and the IGL of the Global Esports squad. Well, let's have a look at my top 8 power rankings. Well, so I think the first one is pretty obvious. Velocity Gaming. I think they are going to be at the top of every list because they have won all the events they have participated in India. And moving on from Velocity, at second I'd put Global Esports, that is us. And at third I'd put XTC. Both the teams have consistently been at the semi-final or the final stages. And since we have, you know, defeated XTZ for the most of the time, so I'd put us at second and XTZ at third. Um, Followed by Reckoning, and I think Reckoning has been consistent at all the events and they have put up a top 5 performance in almost every event since they started, so I'd give them the fourth spot. I At fifth and sixth there's Godlike and Tamilas. I would have placed Godlike a bit lower if not for Deathmaker joining the team, but I think that really adds to their firepower. But that is something I've done as an intuition of a ranking. I think they look really strong on paper, and I'd like to see how they come through. And at 6 is Tamilas again, TEC3 Challenger Series winners. And they have been a bit inconsistent, but I think they are still a solid top 5, top 6 team in the country. Well, moving on to Rebellious, again, they have been top 8 at almost all the TEC Challenger Series and even the other events outside of it. So I think they deserve a top 8 spot. And then I could not decide between Paratroopers and Aya Gaming. I think Tito's new team, or which is called as Aya Gaming, they have already caused a few upsets by defeating Godlike, and they're already in the top 4 or top 5 of the TC Challenger Series 5, so I think they have a good way to go. And again, Paratroopers have also had pretty good results over the past few seasons of TC Challenger Series and other events as well. So I think that pretty much sums up my top 8. Yeah.
Hey everybody, talking about my rankings list, I think there's three things worth mentioning. One is the notable exceptions of teams like Team Villainous, Team Tamalas, and Slay Them With Respect. I think all of these three teams barely missed the cut for me, and I think all three teams, if given slightly different current form, would have definitely made that push. I think there is about 12 teams in the consideration for me, and these three teams are the most honorable mentions of those three that I was not able to include. I think given the form of the teams in the list I have given currently, they were able to barely edge them out, but for time will tell whether they will be able to maintain their spot or if these teams will come back into the spotlight. Now, talking about the list in itself, I think the two things key to mention are one, the Reckoning versus Godlike debate, and two, Aya Gaming. Now, Reckoning versus Godlike, for me, they're both teams that are very close to each other in terms of the systematic style of play, but I think given time, Godlike should, with Deathmaker, be able to edge out Reckoning, but given the current form, I think Reckoning is slightly better than Godlike and hence deserves a slightly higher spot than Godlike, but it is very, very, very close between these two. Now, Aya Gaming, this team has taken me by surprise entirely. I'm a huge fan of any newcomer teams that display a very smart understanding of the game and approach it in a fashion that is very unique to them. Badman, especially with his Cypher plays, has shown me exactly why people were very hyped for his plays in the Rad Syndicate. He's shown up to be a completely different player from where he was, and I do feel him with Tito and the young talents such as Pasha Sahil have a lot of potential in the future. Their inclusion in the list is less of a stats based inclusion, more of a gut based inclusion, given my belief in their potential. I think for me, with regards to the other teams, they're very standard teams that you could expect, but I'm sure I could be surprised, and I'm looking forward to be surprised.
Hey guys, my name is Mamba and I hope you're all doing good. Most of you guys have known me as a caster since I stopped competing in 2016, but my most recent stint was with Team Paratroops here in 2020 in Valorant, and I'm here to give you guys my power rankings. For me, the first team would undoubtedly be VLT. Second one would be Global Esports. The third one would be XTZ. But as far as the rest of the teams are concerned, I don't think there is enough distinction in terms of performances, in terms of consistency among these teams. When you talk about Slay Them With Respect, Godel, Reckoning, Trouts, Paratroops, Atmosphere, yeah, which is a new lineup again because they've picked up older CSGO players like Pasha, and they've picked up Badman from Rat Syndicate as well. Team Villainous, I really don't think there's enough distinction. So sure, I can give you guys my top three, but the rest of the teams, I will elaborate on them later during the podcast because I have a lot to talk about.
And talking about the one or two players that I believe are players to look out for. For one is obviously Kuzuri. And if you remember Kuzuri, we can talk about him from like the NF days during the AMD Valorant Cup in the infamous match against what was then known as Vertigo, which is now known as Velocity Gaming. I believe that Kuzuri played a really good role in that lineup for them, and I believe that they have shown really good and that was a really nice lineup. Even though that lineup disbanded, like for whatever reason, he now comes back, Kuzuri, and starts playing for Paratroops, and I believe that that is his way to like just get back into the circle and show people what he's really good of. He's one player that I've always had my eyes out for. Like I believe that he was really had a lot of talent and potential, and that's why I've gone for him. The second player on my list is Harsh from XTZ. Really great player. Even though we've seen him go off the duelist role, that like we saw him play mostly being a Jet main. He isn't playing Jet anymore for this roster now, and he's picked up Cypher after after Tito's departure. And I believe even though he's been put into that role, we've seen a lot of like great moments coming out from him in terms of how well he frags out, how well he plays, and even in the TEC series, 5. I think he is in the top 10 MVP despite playing Cypher on all maps, or on almost all maps, and Duelist on one or two other maps. I'm extremely excited to see how he can do and how he helps the team, because the role of a Cypher, like switching over to a Cypher from being a Duelist, is extremely hard, and the fact that he has been able to do so till now and has been doing so well because XTZ are showing good results. I'm excited to see what he can do in the future.
Well, a couple of players I think we should look out for are Strix and Pasha. Both of them are, I think, 16, 17, or 18-year-old kids, and both of them play Jets for their team. And I think they're both pretty good at their roles, and they have pretty good aim actually. So I'm really excited to see how they develop as players in the upcoming future events, and if they can add something more apart from the aim to the team.
So my players to watch out for are Strix and SK Rossi. I think first SK Rossi, because the way global esports are playing right now, the solo duelist double initiator composition really, I feel like, enhances his gameplay and allows him to be the aggressive pusher that he really likes to be. Over this entire tournament, over the past month, I've seen him pick up a lot of first bloods, and even looking at him in international events, he does look like he's on fire. So I've got my eye on him. As for Strix, I don't think there's much to be said. He's only about 17 years old, and the fact that he's already pulling out names left, right, and center, the fact that his aim is just so on point, he's basically a Valorant Indian prodigy. He's definitely a player to keep your eye on, and I'm extremely excited for where his future leads us to. Let me know who your players are to look out for in the description, in the comments below, and exactly why you think these players will be players who will be improving over the near future.
If I had to tell you guys the players to look out for me personally, there would be Strix and Sami. Sami, of course, he is an absolute aim god in Strix, my former teammate. I've seen this guy's potential. He is incredible. This guy has so much more, so much potential, and he can go such a long way that it really blows my mind. I think he's 17 and is one of the finest aimers in the country, one of the best players in the country, and just a little bit of grooming and he'll go a really long way.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I hope you made sure to leave your top 8 as well as your players to watch out for in the description below, or even share your opinion on whether or not you agree with our rankings and our players to watch out for. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Also share it with your friends so they can drop their opinions down there. I'll see you with part 2 in the live talk show really soon, and I'll be releasing details and dates of that talk show on my social media. So make sure you follow my social media. You can find all of the links down in the description below. Also, go show your support to Hellranger, Mamba, as well as Rexdreams. I'm going to leave the links to all of their social medias and YouTube channels in the description below. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye bye.